Hello, everyone, and welcome to our partner webinar series. This webinar is part of our Go Lumio series, where we are providing best teaching practices with Lumio. And today, one of our partners, which is ClickView. I'm so excited to learn more about this partnership. We will look at how combining the power of both tools unlocks engagement for students across all grade levels. My name is Michelle Conway, and I'm a professional development specialist based out of New Jersey. This webinar, Unlock Engagement Using ClickView's Embedded Videos in Lumio, features Tim Powers, a regional director from ClickView, and Michelle Grinberg, a professional development specialist from Lumio based out of Arizona. We encourage participation. If you have any questions, please ask those in the chat box during the presentation, and we will either integrate them into the flow or hold them to be answered at the end during our Q&A period. We will be sharing resources from today's webinar in the chat. Also participating today, a certificate will be provided after you complete a brief survey. At this point, I am going to turn things over to Michelle and Tim, the experts, so that we can dive into today's webinar, Unlock Engagement Using ClickView's Embedded Videos in Lumio.
Thanks, Michelle. Tim, I'm going to pass it over to you to do a little intro for yourself.
Yeah. Thank you to the Lumio team for having me on today. As it says on the screen, my name is Tim Powers. I am from ClickView. My background before joining you on sessions like this, I was a classroom teacher for 8 years in Northern New Jersey, spent all of that time either teaching middle school or high school social studies. At the same time, I was an ed tech integration specialist, but I put a big kind of asterisk around that because this was in the early 2000s. And if I could get your ceiling mounted projector to work on your screen, or if I could get Clippy off of your screen, those were big things. I don't know if I'd be able to survive as an ed tech integration specialist today, but in my time, I did well at it. After 8 years in the classroom, I have spent the last 15 years in ed tech doing everything from product development and kind of anything to do with business development. But a lot of my time has been around kind of product creation and product development, really specifically focused in on inquiry-based learning, trying to get students to go beyond a textbook using digital learning tools. So that's why the role I find myself in at ClickView, really trying to spread the word of what we're doing and hoping to spend a little bit of time with you guys today on a really interesting integration we have with Lumio.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. And then for those of us that are new here, my name is Michelle. You might know me as Misha on the team, and I am one of the professional development specialists here at Lumio. And previously to being at Lumio, I too was a teacher, and I taught kindergarten and first grade for Chicago Public Schools. And I got my master's degree, really wanted to keep working with teachers, sharing all things about literacy, and super happy to be here with you guys today. Excited to dive in to learn a little bit about our integration with ClickView. So with that, let's go ahead and take a moment to join in. Michelle did just share in the chat the same instructions that are on the screen here. So you can either use the direct join link in the Zoom chat, or you can just pop open a window. You can go to hellosmart.com, click on join as guest, and then my class ID is 181461. I'm going to go ahead and display my class ID at the bottom of the screen here as well. We'll wait just a second to let you guys get in here, and then we will go forward. I do encourage that we all join in because there's a few different interactive activities we'd love to show you in the embedded content we have with ClickView and Lumio. All right, we're going to move forward here, but again, if you're not signed in yet, you still can. The direct join link is in the chat. All right, so for any of us that might be new here, what exactly is Lumio? We're going to talk about that for just a minute here, and then we're going to dive right into ClickView. So I want you to think about, you in your classroom, or if you're a coach and maybe shadowing a teacher for a day, or back when you were in the classroom, think about how many different things you do in a day, specifically as it pertains to technology, right? You start with maybe Google Slides lesson, you go to iExcel or to Kahoo, you might go to YouTube. There's so many different things that we use as teachers, but they all really do serve a purpose, right? So gamifying learning, doing little assessments and checking for understanding. And there's just so many great ways to integrate tech. But It's a lot. There's a lot of different tabs for us to navigate through. So the goal of Lumio is being able to do everything from one tab. So you start with content that you already have. You can convert any page into a workspace, bring in a YouTube video ad-free. You can build your own games with our templates, graphic organizers, and of course now we have lots of embedded content with Desmos, Flat, and our newest embedded content being ClickView. So let's dive in to learn a little bit about what ClickView is. I'm going to pass it over to you, Tim.
Yeah, so ClickView is a robust video library. So the concept of video is to make it easy for teachers to find curriculum-aligned videos, and that is across the entire spectrum. So K through 12, all subject areas. So the concept is no matter who that teacher or librarian or instructional coach is within your building, we want them to be able to find the right videos that are going to be able to enhance learning in their class. When we talk about the videos that are in ClickView, the concept is that they need to be engaging, high quality, and up to date. So we have nearly 10,000 videos in the library, and one of the things that is constantly going on is an update of those videos. We are constantly bringing in new videos, and we are constantly moving out those that are dated, and that concept is to make sure that whatever it is that you're finding within the system is going to be that best short knowledge bit to bring into your classroom. So how do we have such a large library, and how are we constantly bringing more videos in? There's two different ways that we kind of curate content. So one, we have our own content production team, which is constantly looking at changing standards across the United States, shifts in learning, new approaches, kind of trying to find those gaps and making sure that we are creating content that is going to fill those gaps. So as those things are starting to bubble up, for you as a teacher, we want to make sure that when you go in and you start to simply search for what you might need in your class, that we have relevant content for it. Beyond just creating on our own, another thing that we do is license content. So we have great partnerships with organizations like BBC Learning or TED Ed or Makematic, or really cool groups like VOOCs and their kind of animated reading books, or Crash Course, kind of hitting the two different levels there. If you're teaching those younger kids, you might know VOOCs very well. If you're teaching those middle school, high school students, you might know those great Crash Course videos. If those videos are out there and teachers are using them, we want to bring them into the fold within the system. The other key thing about every video in ClickView is that it can be made interactive. The vast majority of our videos, our content team has gone in and created interactive questions within them. But the really cool thing for an educator is that you have the ability to create your own interactives on any video. So you have the ability to go in and build your own series of questions that tie that short video back to that larger lesson that you're teaching in your class. And then if we're going to have students doing that kind of next level of learning on these videos, we also want to make sure that the data and how they responded to those questions and where those struggle points were or where they had success are easily accessible for you, the teacher, so that you could use that to really kind of adjust your classroom learning. So ClickView as a whole, easy to find videos. They're going to cover every subject area, every grade level. Every one of those videos can be made interactive. And then we want you to be able to be actionable on those interactions that a student has done within them.
Awesome. I love that. All right, so let's take a look. So we're going to spend a little bit of time taking a look at an example embedded lesson that has been created both by ClickView and Lumio right in our Lumio library. We're going to go through, talk a little bit about how we take their content, take our content, make a really engaging lesson. And then after that, we're going to pop out into a separate window and take a look at ClickView and where you can find even more resources if you like what you see. So here is one of the lessons we have in our Lumio library, and it's called Mini Clips Meditation. So Dragon Breaths for Big Emotions. I'm going to let Tim here tell us a little bit about this lesson before we dive in.
Yeah, so I chose this one for a particular reason. So what's been going on in the background with Lumio and ClickView is that our two content teams have been working together to find a good amount of our ClickView videos, bring them into Lumio, and then having the Lumio content team really do their magic and making them interactive in the ways that Lumio works. I had some choices that I wanted to share with you today. I could have done something at a higher level, like a really cool video on the implications of AI. But I was starting to think about where we are in the school year as we are getting through that kind of first third, as we're running into the Thanksgiving holiday, and as things are getting hectic in a good way for all of us. And I thought, why not learn some guided meditation from perhaps angry little dragon who needs to work on his breaths. If he can calm himself down, well, then we can calm ourselves down. And I figured it was a really cool way to get a view of how the Lumio team has taken the great work that our content creation team did and really enhance the lesson around it. So the kind of goal of this lesson is it's a reflective activity. So it's using a ClickView video, but then bringing students through a series of kind of reflective activities that are going to get them to make a deeper connection to thinking about that concept of meditation. Well, what are those big emotions they might be feeling? What are those feelings they might get when they take a deeper breath and calm down a little bit? And getting students to think and feel the power of meditation in a classroom.
Okay, so with that, I think what Tim is saying, it's that time of school year. Kids are getting a little riled up before Thanksgiving if you're in the States. What about we take a few minutes and we do a little bit of meditation? We can see what a video genuinely looks like and then just take a moment for ourselves. You hear it okay? Perfect.
Dragon breaths for big emotions. How are you feeling right now? Do your emotions feel small and light? Or are they feeling big and heavy? Perhaps you're feeling angry because of something someone said to you? Or are you feeling nervous about a big event coming up? Are you just having one of those days where you feel a bit grumpy and don't quite know why? Or maybe you're feeling something completely different. Whatever you're feeling, let's take some time to help your body deal with these emotions. Find a quiet place where you can relax for the next few minutes. Sit up straight and tall with your shoulders relaxed. You can choose to sit on a chair or on the floor with your legs crossed. Rest your hands on your knees. Or you can lie down somewhere comfortable if you prefer. Now close your eyes, or keep them open if you like. Imagine you are a large dragon with wide wings and shiny scales. Think of your big emotions as a large ball of fire inside your dragon body. Can you feel it? Where do you feel it in your body? Is it in your chest? Or perhaps in your stomach? Is your fire burning fiercely? Does it feel hot and intense? Or does it feel warm and gentle? Maybe a gentle flicker? Now take a deep breath in through your nose. Feel how the ball of fire gets bigger as you let the air into your body. Breathe out through your mouth while you say, Imagine the ball of fire becoming smaller as you let the air out through your mouth like a big flame. Take another deep breath in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth, saying, Feel how the ball of fire is getting smaller again as you let the air out through your mouth. Repeat a few more times until you feel the ball of fire inside you is all gone. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you are ready, you can let the dragon sleep and keep going on with your fire-free day.
If you liked this video, you can
That was such a good reminder, like in the midst of everything that we have going on, to just take a moment to breathe. This was something that I did a lot with my kinder students because we always did math right after lunch and recess, and they came in way too hyper to learn math. So I was always like searching for different YouTube videos of like different meditation and calm classroom activities. So how awesome is it that this is now, I could put this right into my Lumio lesson right before we do math, right? But as Tim also mentioned, this was just one of so many different videos and activities that ClickView has. Like he said, there's things on AI and online safety. There's so many different SEL videos. So let's dive in to see now how our team worked with the ClickView team to make some really cool content, kind of following that video. So here we have a whole class whiteboard with a question on it. So we just did that meditation. We followed that video, right? We breathed and we exhaled out those heavy emotions. But how are you feeling after doing that? So how have your thoughts changed? And now we can give our students or us in this webinar different opportunities to be able to reflect on our thinking. So it looks like I've got 2 of you logged into the lesson. There's a couple of you in our webinar. Make sure that you join on in. The direct join link is in the chat. So something that I'd like to call out here is these Post-it notes here are infinitely cloned, so you can drag them out and type. But also I want to think about different ways that we can make this accessible for our students. So they can type, they can draw, they can bring in images using the toolbar on the left of the screen. If you don't see these buttons and you see 3 dots, go ahead and click on those 3 dots and you'll get all these different choices. So again, you can write, you can type, but also if you click on this little button that we call the gallery, it is a heart, a plus, and a little image and circle in there. You can bring in stickers, shapes, you can bring in images from the web. But also for our students that might need a little bit more support, there's also now that audio recording option, so they can also record themselves sharing how they're feeling. So let's all take a second to do that. Pam says that she feels calm and at peace. I would like to try this video with my virtual grade 1 and 2 class. I love that. I was teaching kindergarten during remote learning days. And I definitely did this beginning of every lesson because I swear, I feel like every time I let my kids have a break, the parents would go and give them candy and they'd come to me like just bouncing off the walls. So it's just a really good way to center them. And I feel like at home, our kids have such big feelings, and it's a really good way for them to exhale those heavy emotions. So something I really like is Pam, she did write her name over here, but I also have someone over here who didn't. Someone says that they feel less stressed. Because this activity was turned into a whole class whiteboard in Lumio, I can click on it and I can see who that was, which was Kate. Kate, I'm so glad that you're feeling less stressed. So this is, again, a whole class whiteboard, so all of us are able to actively participate in this activity. A really great place to come and reflect after watching that video. So the activity on the page prior was a whole class whiteboard, but now I'm wondering, I want my students to do something a little bit more independently. So this activity now is an individual handout. So we each have our own copy. So as a teacher, I'm going to go ahead and go to my handout if I need to explain anything on here. So let's do some visual journaling. Picture a calming image, write a descriptive paragraph about what you see, how it makes you feel, and any thoughts that arise. So this is a very loose prompt, right? The students can really take this in any direction. Again, this one here does talk about writing a descriptive paragraph, but if you need to adapt this to kindergarten students, first grade students, maybe in a special ed classroom, they do have the ability to write. They have the ability to draw, or again, they can also speak out their descriptive paragraph as well. So from here, I can demonstrate my activity, or I can drop down into my teacher dashboard here. And what you'll notice on your student side is on the top right corner, you've got a button that says done. And one way that I like to use that done button, other than just saying, hey, Ms. G, I'm done, is I'll tell my students, if you're feeling brave today and I can share your work with the class, go ahead and hit that done button, because then on my dashboard, I'll get a green check mark to see how everyone is doing. So Kate or Pam, if either of you are feeling comfortable, even if you're not done, I'd love to demonstrate what you're working on. It's okay if you're not, though. Oh, thanks, Kate. I can click on here and we can take a look at what Kate's doing. So I'm picturing a river. It brings me happy memories. It makes me feel close to my family and calm. That is beautiful. It's so amazing what words can do in the image that it can create. And what I can do as a teacher is I am going to go ahead and pick a sticker here. And I'm going to add that to Kate's sheet, kind of like a little sticker, a little feedback. I can write her a note and just Kate sees that on hers. So we've taken this fantastic video from ClickView and now we're turning it into this whole lesson here. How you doing, Tim? Anything you'd like to add so far?
No, I actually really love the kind of way that a lesson can build out of this, because the whole concept is, so again, having worked in ed tech for a long time, we always want to make video not be sit and get. We want to make it something that's an active part of the learning experience. And I just like the scaffold that we have going here.
Absolutely. So we did something together. The video we watched at the same time, but everyone really was having their own experience with that video, right? Then we did a whole group activity with the whole class whiteboard. Now we've transitioned to an independent activity. And this is all coming from a quick, I think, what was it, like a 4-minute video, right? Yep. And all of these things are all in one lesson file. So having ClickView embedded right into Lumio, you have one less place to go. But just because it's all in one lesson file doesn't mean that you're limited to really just one kind of activity. We're now doing already 3 different types of activities, different ways to express what you're doing, still all in one spot. So another example here, another independent individual handout, expanding on that video further. So mindfulness storytelling. Write a story of a misunderstood dragon who discovers mindfulness while exploring a magical forest. What a fun way to get our students' creativity going. And again, expanding. All we did was really breathe. We reflected on our heavy emotions. We brainstormed together how it makes us feel. We painted a picture that helps us to really calm down. And now we can write a story. And again, going back to that accessibility, they can write, they can type, they can bring in a series of images if they want to make almost like a comic strip, or they can also storytell using the audio feature. Good question, Pamela. So as a few of you, if you'd like to work on this activity, I can go ahead and answer this question now. So we use a lot of us, I can't speak for everyone, but we do a lot of things in Canva. And if you didn't know, we actually have a webinar coming up soon on how you can use Canva and Lumio together. Michelle, if you're out there, if you can drop in the date and registration link for how we use the two together, because Canva and Lumio are also integrated. And right when you create in Canva, Lumio is one of the apps in there that you can directly transfer your Canva creation right into Lumio. So that's where a lot of these fun backgrounds come from. You're very welcome. And we'll make sure to send you that registration link for that Canva. The Canva webinar, which just as a reminder for any webinars there, Michelle's got it. Any webinars that you can't attend, always register anyways, because we'll just directly email you the recording as well. All right, so just another little activity here, just so many different ways for us to think about how I think our big emotions isn't just for us, right? Like how it affects us, how we can observe other people having big emotions. And it's just really fun to see kind of how we can collaborate together while also having these moments for self-reflection as well. I think it's really fun. All right, so we are going to take a little look at all the other things you can do in Lumio, or with ClickView, I'm sorry. So again, this was just such a quick little activity, but ClickView has thousands and thousands of different things for you to look at. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to let Tim take over here and talk a little bit more about ClickView and different opportunities for you to use it in your classroom. Did it let you? I said yes, but then for some reason, here you go.
I think we are getting it. Shift my screen over here. So everybody's seeing my screen says ClickView up in the top left corner here?
Yep.
Awesome. So what I wanted to do is just give you a little bit of a tour of where that video came from and what you have the ability to do within the ClickView platform itself. So what's really great about the Lumio partnership is, as we saw there, you had 2 teams that worked together to bring a video in and really build out what could be a pretty concise, but yet good amount of time lesson. So what we would be thinking about doing in terms of interactives on a video in ClickView is, Well, what about those moments where you have that in the moment need for a video, where I need to go in and I need to find something and I need to be able to find it and create a connection with that video and what I'm already doing in my class? So as I said, that's that kind of key kind of differentiator when it comes to ClickView as a video provider. We want to make it easy to find the videos you need. We want to make it easy for you to make them interactive so you can tie them directly to the lessons you're doing. And we want you to be able to act on that. So I want to kind of show you that pretty quickly. So one thing that I want to show is we were obviously in an elementary video with our buddy, the little dragon there. The concept, as I said, of ClickView is that we are supporting all teachers, all subject areas, all grade levels. So the library is broken up elementary, middle, high school. Teachers have the ability to toggle back and forth between that because no matter what level I'm at, I might be looking at something at a different level. But we wanted you to know that we do support all levels when it comes to those videos. The concept is, can we make videos easy to find? So you're sitting in our screen here. I have this set up. I have all my subject areas showing to me. I can dive in subject areas and I can start to mine through my topics that way. I can search for videos very easily, find a search term. What am I looking to talk about in my class? I have the ability to search at that level. One of our newer cool things is, as I said, we are constantly pushing out new videos. So as you notice, I toggled from the For You. So I have my account set up showing me everything. If I just wanted certain grade levels on my main screen, if I just wanted certain subject areas, I could do that. So my For You can be customized. But if I just want to know what's coming out and what's new, I can go in and very quickly look through all the new videos that have come out in all those different subject areas. I'm logged in as a high school teacher right now. Another kind of cool approach and thing that we're moving towards, you'll see as you scroll down that we're starting to put things into topics. So one of the things that I used to struggle with as a teacher was I always looked for an in-the-moment video for a very specific part of a lesson. I wasn't thinking of my unit or my full lesson as a whole. I was going, oh, I need something to support this direct thing here. We want teachers to start thinking of the larger picture. So we started to organize things into what we call curated topics. A curated topic is going to look at something like Revolutionary War tactics or William Shakespeare or the sport of cricket. And it's going to give you a series of videos in kind of a logical order of where they scaffold on each other. So you could start to think, hey, this might be the video I need at the beginning of my unit. And a week later, this other one might be good to get in here. But you're getting a chance to see those at that kind of top level piece. So not only having videos, but also starting to think about smarter ways for teachers to be uncovering videos. But I'm going to bring up one of my favorite videos in the system. I have two teenage sons. So the concept of digital citizenship and what the kind of impact of technology is actually a concept that we're always talking about in our house outside of school. So I'm going to use this as an example of the power of a ClickView video within our platform. So I brought the video up here. I have it muted at the moment, but just to kind of let you know how we source out our videos and what information we're giving teachers. We always want you to know exactly what's going on. What are those key topics that we're going to have? We want you to be able to uncover your standards very quickly. You're going to see in this particular video, we've created a teacher pack, which kind of does similar to what Lumio does, but it does it in the background for the teacher. What's a good starting conversation before we go into this video? What are ways that I can extend this activity? But as I told you, every video within ClickView has the ability to be made interactive. So below here, when I bring this video up, you're going to see that there are 3 versions of this interactive that were already created by our content team. So I have the ability to bring that up. And I can look at those questions that were there and say, oh, do these questions cover what I want to do in class? Yeah, and I can assign this one right out to my students. Or I can say, you know what, we're really tying this to something that we did in our social studies textbook the other day. It was part of our conversation in class. So I want to build out my own questions. So as a teacher, I very simply have the ability to build out my own questions. I can do them instant feedback where students get instant feedback as it says, or in a quiz mindset where it's going to actually kind of give a quick little grade on it. But no matter how I do that, it's as simple as it's going to bring the video up for me. And there's going to be this little button here that says add question. And anywhere in the video, I want to add a question. I have 6 different question types I can add in. I can add in a fill in the blank, a multiple choice, or a true and false, which I'll auto grade. I can add in a short answer where I'm going to have to give some teacher feedback, or my 2 favorites that I think really allow us to tie things back to what we've done in class. I can add an image. Am I using a KWL chart, or am I using an anchor chart in class and I want my students to remember that while they're watching the video? Well, I can load an image of it. Or as a teacher, I can add annotations, those kind of hints and tips and reminders of what was going on in our larger conversation that I'll guide students through. So as I said, a library of 10,000 videos, all of them can be made interactive, but then if we're making things interactive, we want you, the teacher, to be able to act on that interaction. So I have the ability to kind of go in I assign that video out. This is the one we had looked at. I assigned it out to my class, and I instantly have a dashboard that's waiting for me, letting me know how my students use this video. I had put interactive questions in, so I can go in, I could see, I had mine as a quiz. I could see my average score was a 71. I could see that 72% of my students watched all of the video. As a teacher, you have the ability to let the whole video play, or I can let students freeform roll around it. There are bonuses to both of those. I could see what was the hardest question. What was the question that most of my students struggled with? What I really like along the side here is you can see that it's already calling out who are my top achievers, who did well, and who needs that helping hand? Who do I have to go give some shoulder time to? And if I'm going to give them that shoulder time, I want to know what they did. So I can get into every one of these students and see how they did. I can go to Lorenzo and see which questions he got wrong and what he might have answered there. So I can give him that real kind of guidance point. Or conversely, I can look at that from the flip and say, hey, where did my whole class struggle? And I then have that ability to go in and say, well, we all really struggled on this question. That's going to be what we're going to start class with tomorrow. We're going to have a conversation around it so that we can all dive in. And then another cool feature is the engagement. So if I've allowed my class to watch and rewatch parts of this video, not force them to go through, I can kind of hot map where they were within the video. I could see as my whole class where were things rewatched. Then I can go into those individual students and I can look at somebody like Danny, who didn't do really well on his questions, but if we go up to the hot map, we could see he only watched where there was a question. So that concept of simple to find videos and making them actionable. And now I'll give my last 1 minute to the extra bonus with ClickView. So ClickView made an acquisition in January of last year of a company called Streamable Learning. Streamable Learning is now part of ClickView. So if you subscribe to ClickView, you have access to Streamable Learning. Streamable Learning is a really kind of cool offering in the fact that it is a platform for live and interactive video field trips. So our concept is to run a daily calendar. So we run 600 live sessions a year of programs that are meant to introduce students to subject matter experts and really expand that learning beyond the textbook. So the concept is, can we get anything from a kindergarten student learning about habitats to a AP chemistry student who might be interested in how steam is used for restoring ancient paintings, a place where they get the chance to learn from and interact with the subject matter experts that are experts there. So what we do is we run, as I said, a live schedule of 600 live streams done on a calendar that's built out at the beginning of the year. So you as a teacher have the ability to see what's coming up, say, hey, in 2 weeks, I really want to get my class involved in this one. And you can see the variety of what we're offering. The one I just brought up here happened yesterday. It's a really cool new offering we're doing with the Museum of Science in Boston, where they are doing a bi-monthly what's going on in the news of science for elementary students. So you as a teacher know you could get in there twice a month and get your students up to date on those kind of things. There was a cool session this morning with Preservation Virginia, where they were working through what it was like to be at Valley Forge. There is a really cool one coming up this afternoon with, local to me in New Jersey, the Liberty Science Center, where they are running a session where they're bringing students to the wonders of the night eye, and they're actually giving them a virtual experience within the planetarium. So the cool thing about Streamable is it is getting students connected to all of those great organizations that we want to get them exposed to. So again, 600 live sessions a year. We record all of them. So if the live schedule doesn't match, you have the ability to go in and see every one of the ones that we've done in the past and use those with your class. Bonus for those of you who teach in the elementary levels, of those 675 are live author visits a year. So this is kind of a bonus in the world of ClickView, kind of a new thing that is now wrapped into the ClickView sphere. So good overview of what we do on our end. Really interested to see where we continue to take things with Lumio, because I was really impressed by what their content team did with our videos. And most importantly, I'm going to now try to have a fire-free day, kind of like our little dragon did.
I love that. Well, thank you for showing us that, Tim. I certainly would have loved all those things when I was in the classroom, especially those virtual field trips. What a great way to explore students, to really expose them to so many different things around us. I saw Chicago History Museum in there. Yep. I've been there. It's so cool. And what a great opportunity. It would have been really hard to take kindergartners there. And so what a great way to
so we have over 100 partners from not just around the country, but from around the world. So it's that concept of getting students exposed to things that aren't in their everyday life.
Love that. Well, so we just popped out a little bit to ClickView and we saw where all those videos are. So coming back over to Lumio here right now on my screen, you can see it, right? Am I sharing my screen? I think so. Perfect. All right. So you should see my Lumio library. So I'm going to scroll down, and I know some of these aren't loading. My internet is not the very best, but you can still hear me. So we're in good hands. I'm going to scroll down here to video lessons with ClickView. So here are the lessons that we have already worked together on to bring right into Lumio. Currently, right now, I believe there are 40 of them, and there are a few more in the works, some that I personally created as your resident kindergarten teacher. I made one with a lesson that they have on healthy food choices and sorting into food groups. And I also did one on their video that was called, I think it was called Ethical Adventures of Right and Wrong. And so I had some different scenarios. I had some little recordings of their little characters in ClickView, the dragon, and there's a couple others, kind of saying different things you might hear on the playground and having the students kind of respond and how they can make a really good decision. So stay tuned for even more coming in the Lumio library. But once you're in the Lumio library, again, I scroll down, there's a whole category with those video lessons with ClickView. There are 40 right now, even though some of mine aren't loading at the moment, and that's okay. So you can see here's one that we did, breathing through big emotions. There is that AI one that Tim mentioned. There's actually a few on AI. Looks like 4 that are loading for me at the moment. Privacy online. There's so many. Once you're in the Lumio library and you find a lesson you like and you click on it, what I really like is it does let you scroll through the entire document to take a look at it, see all the activities that are in there. Digital footprints, so important. All of these are interactive, so you can make any worksheet into an interactive space. These check marks here are infinitely cloned. You can provide support by recording yourself reading all of these for those students. So different ways to really make this fun, interactive, and accessible. Once you find one of the lessons that you like in our Lumio library and you hit save to my library, you'll see in the bottom right of my screen, it does give me a copy of this lesson. And I say copy because once it's in your own library, you can totally change it up. So if you like the content, but you want to make it more accessible, or you like the content and you don't like the background, or whatever it is, you want to add a page, delete a page, combine a few lessons, bring it into something that you're already doing, right here, you can see that it's done. I can hit edit. And if I need to, I can totally change up this document, make any accommodations that I might need for my students, or it's ready to go. Take it right as is. It's done for me, and I can present it to my students. So just give me a second here. I'm going to pop back into our file for today. Awesome. So just a reminder, go ahead and take a look at the Lumio library for that ClickView section. The last page in all those lessons does look like this one here that'll hyperlink you back out to their website where you can go ahead and create your own account as well. And then kind of closing things out here, it looks like, are you able to share the teacher link with us? Yes, Michelle will drop that in the chat. Michelle, if I didn't share it with you, let me know and I will, but I'm pretty sure, oh, she's already ahead of it. She's got it. All right, so let's close things out here. So just a reminder, with Lumio, we have a different Lumio challenge every month. And this month, our challenge is, how do you use Lumio to encourage students to think critically and share their ideas? And I think that ClickView does such a phenomenal job of really encouraging different ways to have our students think critically, whether we're thinking about mindful choices that we can make ourselves with our emotion as it pertains to online safety. So we would love to see how you're using Lumio to encourage that. All you need to do to enter our challenge every month is take a screenshot of a Lumio lesson or take a picture of Lumio in action with your students. Just please blur out their faces for privacy and just post it across any social media. So you can put it on our Facebook group, Lumio Educators. You can post it on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and make sure that you hashtag Lumio Challenge and hashtag Go Lumio, tag us at Lumio Social. And every month, I think we've done the last 2 months, like 10 folks win our challenge. So you'll get a gift card for participating. And then Michelle did also share a link in the chat as well. If you're not yet, become an ambassador with us, a really great platform to come. So anytime that we have any announcements about webinars or partnerships like ClickView, new features like attached audio, all of those things are being posted in our ambassador community, and just a really good place to connect with teachers all over the world that are using Lumio, and just always being in the know and sharing really cool ideas. So if you're not yet an ambassador, do make sure that you apply. And Michelle also shared in the chat a link to this page here with all of our resources. We've got our Academy to Learn Lumio, self-paced, self-guided, simulated courses that you can take and earn your PD hours. We always have our webinars. Make sure you register even if you can't attend. YouTube channel has all previous recordings as well, quick train videos, Lumio lives, so many different things. And last but not least, Michelle also dropped in the chat the survey. Oh yeah, we can definitely pull that for you. That is no worries at all. Absolutely. So make sure that you pull up the survey. It's in the chat as well as up on the screen, or if you're still logged into Lumio lesson, fill out that survey and you'll get your certificate. And if no one else has any other questions for Tim, I'm going to pass it over to Michelle to close us out.
Alrighty, well, at this point, we will close things down to make sure you get all those links. But reminder, we do send a follow-up as well. So thank you for joining us today for our partner webinar. I want to thank Michelle and especially Tim for their insight on empowering learners using ClickView and Lumio. I want to thank everyone for being here, most of you in the day of your teachers. So appreciate it for taking the time out in your classroom day to be with us. And obviously, don't forget to complete the survey, but we do send a follow-up email in the next few days with the recording and all the resources from this webinar to help you on your Lumio journey. We can't wait to see you at the next one.